Alright, should be good to go. This might not... It'd probably be this or a Pokemon Legends stream anyways with how the day is going so far. Because I'm not sure how much I'm going to be talking throughout all of this because I've been feeling awfully nasally these past couple days. And I get the feeling that it's getting in the way of talking in that. Regardless, it's 7:30 now. Perfect timing, I suppose. Welcome. Long story short, the title should be self-explanatory. I'm gonna try live streaming while working on art. Just various drawings that I've just worked on various drawings. It's a concept that I, with October coming up and being able to the past couple years, like try to do video shorts and stuff of the like, revolving around my original creations throughout the month of October. I thought this sort of like art stream in the Saturday slots that I would normally do live streams in October would be a good way to assure that I do something. Because I'll be honest, like, it's already September and I got nothing planned so far, and I've been so busy with the game development and other things that I haven't put time aside to like plan out videos or anything for it, even though I have the ideas. Like, I don't know, I think like having like art streams would be a good backup if nothing else fails. So let's try this out. It should just be a simple tap and there's the software up and going. You probably don't need to see all this, but I'll keep it all in for now just to keep things more simple. Probably wouldn't hurt to have the BRB unless I do that in the... but it might be a little anticlimactic with the splash screen and that. Sorry, I got a little distracted because I got the Legends Arceus soundtrack playing to pass the time. And they just got... Okay, there's the difference. I was going to say, it's an outdoor and indoor track, and I wasn't sure what the difference could possibly be. I was going to say, yeah, I think like first thing on the agenda is to... is to do this. I've had this sketched out for a while, and I've been meaning to color it in for a bit because I was hoping to use this for like a potential UI in the platform I started. Long story short, I wanted to use this for a UI. So like eventually one of the games I'm working on would have a screen up in the corner where you can see her like react to picking up power-ups, getting hit, and stuff like that. But that requires actually drawing and coloring and finishing it up before I actually implemented anything. And I am starting to work on the platformer again. So since I didn't want to get too... Since I've been in a bit of a game development mood and wanted to do something that felt productive towards that as well, this seemed to be the perfect time to go about and work on this. Do have a backup if we finish it up soon, because like with the way my art style is, something telling me this wouldn't be too much work, or like too much of a problem. You know, all this makes me think about is how I really gotta do a game and chill sometime soon. Like, Legends CA comes out in a month, and I'm not sure if anyone's really gonna care about Legends Arceus anymore once that game is out. It's a bit of a shame because nothing ZA really feels like it's game and chill worthy material. Like, I might pick up the game, but even if I pick it up, I don't think like it would be relaxing enough with all the battling and the city environment for it to actually make a good background gameplay for game and chill. And honestly, like, if it wasn't for the fact that I don't have a Switch 2 yet, and one of the bundles just comes with the game, I don't know if I would even pick it up, because, like, it doesn't really feel like a $70 game to me. If I get it on Switch 1, because that's the console I own, it probably would be, like, only $60, but even then I'm a little unsure. But, like, if I get the bundle, then at least it's only $50. I'm a little conflicted because I'm not sure if I would... Feels like I'm just buying it just to try to maximize the value I get out of purchasing a Switch 2, and I'm not sure if that's a reason that I would want, if there's a valid enough reason for me personally to pick that up. Yeah, I don't know. Something sketched for a while ago, so I might take some liberties, but I don't like something about the way her arm looks here. It's not that different from the way I normally do arms, but something feels off about it. Going a bit wider seems like it works out, though. I guess I could zoom out and remove sketch layer for a second and get a view. Yeah, it still feels a bit lacking. I'll finish up the rest of the chest and then come back. So yeah, that's one of the things that kind of been in the background in my mind for a bit. Feels like it's been a while since I've just had casual time in chat, but it's so much that I'm just kind of overwhelmed with what to talk about first. If you somehow missed the news after sharing it on every platform I could, I released a game on itch, or at least an update for a game. If you've been following the shorts, you know that I've kind of been working on expanding out the April Fool's game, because I felt bad about, like, it being kind of just like a remake of a game I made all the way back in 2007, and yet it felt lacking in a lot of the features and characters from the 2007 build. So I finally felt like it was coming along to a point where I could actually update the page with something new. So there's, like, now the level count's been updated to 20. It still only has DK and Diddy in it, but, like, there's a side mode where you can play where the other Kongs are a factor. It's a little inaccurate to say that you play as the other Kongs, because it's a shooter and they're mostly just obstacles you avoid, though you can right click for power up to, like, do character specific power ups. It's a little bit iffy of a middle ground of if I would consider them characters or obstacles. All I know for sure is that they're the opposite of enemies. Yeah, let's... Something feels off about the arms, so... I guess now's a good time as I need to take a closer look. I kind of just fell on Legends Arceus because that's a go-to for me. Maybe if we get like... Maybe I'll swap the music later on, but for right now, I'm just feeling like this is the game that kind of has the vibes that I want to go for. You know, oh, just to be on the safe side, I'll make another layer and mess around with the arms to see if I can come up with something better. Like, I don't want to cut off the chest, but that might be the best way to... I don't know if I would say fix, but make the issue I have a little less noticeable. I don't know if I like that though. Merge that together and try to get the chest in the angle that I would want it to be more at and see if that's better. I guess it's an interesting start to everything because normally I don't spend this much time on... Usually I'm more relying on the sketch than I am here, but... keep forgetting that I can just flip my pen and it automatically goes to the eraser module. That's better. Definitely works. That definitely works for me at the very least. Well, I'm just making adjustments. Wouldn't mind just cleaning this up a little too. plenty of time to clean up all my lines after I've sketched them all out, but this works. I don't know how I feel about this sketch having the iris and the. I was gonna say iris and the pupil, but no, it's just the iris. That's a little out of my style. I went, really? And I was just getting done editing a video where there was vacuuming on the stream, but whatever. It's fine. And I've been, I apologize in advance, but I have been tired throughout the day. Probably because I was up a bit late, and even though I could sleep in, like, I'm not used to sleeping in after a certain point. So I could have probably easily gotten 8 hours of sleep if I went to bed or at a reasonable time, but it's what it is. See how this looks without the sketch now. That kind of makes her look like she's cross-eyed. But I don't know if that's really any better. I'll probably replace the eyes with the standard cylinder / eyes later on, but that's a good start. Right, I should merge these together. And since I'm going to be using these, since the plan at least is to eventually use these individually in game, I should probably save each layer as its own sketch. Maybe even flat out make a folder so I can keep the colors for each one separated. Yeah, I think that's about as thick as the previous one. I want to keep the lines consistent. That seems like a good idea. I guess it's worth knowing it's a little out of my comfort zone. Used to using drawing something to do on my own time, maybe like have a stream or a video running in the background while I'm drawing. Depending on what it is, sometimes I just flat out have music like I'm doing now and let all that play out. But I can already tell this is not something that I would do too often, if ever, because like if I'm gonna drawing is a fun thing to do as a background activity where you're just like working on a drawing and having something that you've been meaning to watch or listen to playing in the background while you're doing the drawing. It's especially useful with the 2 monitor setup I have because I can actually kind of sort of watch as I draw and not have it just be exclusively background noise. You know what? When in doubt, put it on a separate layer. I kind of see what I'm going for here, but I'm not quite sure. Okay, I guess it does look more like eyelashes than whatever I was thinking it might look like. One thing that's going to be tricky is because apparently I'm not happy with the whole thing with the arms and the chest not feeling like they line up like they should. That's going to be an issue for all the sketches, isn't it? Let's see how I draw her without the reference and go from there. Well, that feels worse. That seems a bit better. You know, it's just a matter of drawing the arms around it in a way that I like. could be worse. No, I haven't done much, but let me see if I can find another soundtrack that can get my mindset into something a little more fitting. Try the Mario and Luigi. Not Brothership. Oh, no wonder YouTube just keeps randomly adding stuff to it, so I guess that just makes it a bit more tricky to, because like I was just trying to look for the normal OST and then pulled up Battle. Yeah, this might be cool. This might be good. It's a bit louder than the Legend, so I'll tune it down a little. Yeah, let's try that for a little bit. Like normally I would listen to like remixes and that, but I don't want to play. I would say I don't want to play music I don't have permission to do, but it's not like this music exactly public domain or anything, but you know what I mean? Like I rather, it's safer to do this than the actual remixes of the songs that I would normally listen to, because I don't know who's cool with me just playing their music on stream, especially when I'm so focused on drawing rather than talking, and who wouldn't be. And I could take the time to look into that, but I'm not. So for now, better safe than sorry. Speaking of which, I almost forgot to actually make a new layer. Oh, I guess I did. Oh no, I just got confused because of the whole... Yeah, I see now. It does remind me, back in the day, I used to have this really neat, useful computer extension that just streamed music, and you could select what was royalty free and what was not. It was made for Twitch, so unfortunately when I started multi-streaming to YouTube, it didn't really work because there was a lot of times where music was fine on Twitch, but it came up as a content ID claim over on the YouTube end of things, and that was like when I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna bother with this anymore. That's a little awkward of a loop. I find myself spending a lot of time trying to learn about proper looping. This doesn't feel like a natural curve like how the hair normally looks. When in doubt, layer up. See, that's how it should look like with the way that angle is going, but how am I still drawing on the wrong layer? Oh, I gotta clean this up anyways. I forget what move this is. I forget what this sketch was supposed to be for, so I'll just call it Zero Sad for now. Maybe I get less confused if I actually put it into his folder. It's a little weird, but it could work. Alright, I'm thinking about just how weird of a day it's been, because it feels like I've spent more time on errands than doing anything I want. I guess it didn't help that it was kind of divided up, because I got back from a walk, spent like an hour or two doing errands around home, and then was forced to take a break, and I spent that time finishing up a video. And then I was asked to come back to do the errands. And by the time I got done with that, I only spent like maybe half an hour chilling before fixing myself dinner, then coming to the stream. And I'm already being asked to help out more of those errands tomorrow. And at this point, I'm not going to have a weekend at all. Guess that's the thought that's looming in the back of my mind. At least I got a little time to like play some Legends Arceus before going to dinner. By a little time, I mean like half an hour, if even that. I don't know, where did the day just gone, man? Like, and I'll be a little disappointed if tomorrow ends up being in a similar boat. Like, they have something to look forward to. before I go back into the inevitable grind of the workday. And that does remind me, like, I did play a bit of the Sonic Crossroad network tests over last weekend, and I had a real fun time with that. The biggest shame was the fact that I barely got to play it, because I didn't get... Stuff came up Saturday that kept me from getting around to it. So I got to enjoy a bit Sunday, and then Monday I just completely didn't get around to it until like the very end of the day, so like I could only play for like an hour, and even then it felt like I was up too late as is. I did hear that they're like bringing back a demo. Something, gotta do something about that ponytail. Yeah, I had a real fun time with that though, and I really want to play more of it soon. Only thing that's kind of make me hesitant to get it at launch is the fact that it's $70, which I know is just the standard these days. Doesn't mean I have to like it. The issue is just that I've had buyer's remorse so many times with $60 games that the whole jump to $70 has been a bit hard. Feels like that's the way the market's going though, so I guess I'll have to get used to it eventually. But I don't think that day will quite be today. And tomorrow isn't exactly looking much more promising. We talked about it a bit on Blue Sky, but like, ever since finishing that release of the Gremlin Hunting game, I've been going back to Firebrand Dash and messing around with that. Though most of the time I spent messing around with that was working on a joke level, which is ironically a much harder level than anything that I've actually made for the game initially. Only to realize after I was all done and looking into the rules of how to submit it to the joke channel, that one of the number one rules is not to just recreate the game, or just not to recreate the level in an indie platformer. Like, it's specifically pointing out indie platformer. Grant, I assume that like they're thinking that most people just like hack the game or pull up a level editor and do it like that. I don't know if you would ever actually expect someone to actually make a game from scratch just to make a level. I wouldn't say just to make their own game from scratch and then add a level to that. God, something's just what. I see the issue. I'm trying. The ponytail ban looks weird, and that's because I was trying to make her look like she's looking down, so I just tilted everything down some more. But this doesn't really capture that anymore. I think the ponytail can stay though, so we'll merge that together. I'll try the braid again one more time. Man, why am I getting jiggle fingers now? See, that doesn't seem so bad if I could, like, erase everything around it properly. Then we could get this to work. It's still not great. I still don't quite like the way the hairbrand looks, but it's better. I got one more idea I can try. If I connect the ponytail more directly to the braid, assuming it doesn't make things look even worse, that could be a good solution to the problem. No. It's still not perfect, but it's okay. I gotta get up and stretch a bit. I don't know if it's because the way I bend while doing the quote-unquote errands or something else, but my neck is hurting all of a sudden, so it's probably not for the best. So I probably should get up and do something about that. Do what I can at least. It might be a good time to go on BRB anyways, because probably gonna stream closer to an hour than not. But more importantly, like, things aren't really working out for the neck, so I figured to take a break, take care of some other things while I'm breaking. Yeah, see you in a sec. Well, I guess stepping away was exactly what I needed, because the next thing is no longer an issue. I guess we can get back into this. Yeah, I think I like how that pans out a bit better. Yeah, it seems like this will all get covered up by the holding the my cookie anyways, but yeah, might as well. Something doesn't really feel right about that though. That's a little bit better. Yeah, I can't believe I haven't even been streaming for an hour, and yet it feels like I'm just counting down the time until it's at the end. But at this point, I should at least finish the drawings before ending things off. Well, see how I feel after this one. let's try this from a different approach. Just holding it out, then. Honestly, I don't even think I want to sketch at all at this point. Yeah, like this doesn't feel right anymore, but I don't really have anything else to even go off of. Let's see. I erase this part of the layer. Okay, it doesn't look as bad, but do the tricky part of distinguishing the sleeve from the arm. That works. That looks like it might work. I think I'm gonna clean up the arm. Yeah, it's not great, but it's that's a hard angle for me in general, so I'm not too worried about it. Maybe if it might look a little better if I could like get rid of this top area. Yeah, and then it looks more like a... Yeah, I think I was trying to go for is like have the point of cookies like stuck between two fingers, so I'm just holding on to it. You know, like holding on to it with like 3 fingers, more like 2 fingers and a thumb, and then 2 at the end would help it look better. And actually have the thumb wrap around. I don't think I've ever been great with hands, but then again, that's also a common trope of art. Just never being able to get the hands right. Or dreading hands more than any other part of the work. I guess it, like the other hand fingers would be curled, but not really a good way to add another finger without turning this into a complete monstrosity. Maybe people would just not notice. Worst case scenario, if it's a complete mess, I can always just do another sketch and try again, I suppose. But I don't really feel like I'm getting anything more out of messing with it now as is. I think it's safe for me to just copy the face. Like, I moved around the hand a lot, but that doesn't really affect the face at all. Far from my greatest, but could be worse. I think I'll keep all these layers separate for now. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back and try to make this look better later. So for now, just dump everything in here. Let's see. The other shouldn't be as hard. So sure, let's give this one a shot and see how I feel from there. This one looks like just kind of flustered after something happened. So it looks like a lot of the more weird lines are kind of in intentional, so it doesn't matter as much if I completely screw this up, I think. See that, but then I go immediately out of line. I just remembered the VOD channel. I probably need to queue stuff up for it, because it's been so long since I've even logged into the channel. But also, if it feels like I spend a lot of time to... Maybe that's where the time really went, just like queuing stuff. Because I've already done so much queuing with Tumblr posts to try to get the art blog, or to get the Pokemon Go photo blog that I have filled up with stuff, and I was doing that while video editing, and making those blue sky posts, which always take longer than you would think because I have to add in the alt text. It's a big reason why I don't just post them all the time, because like, it's not a rule, but it's a social acceptance to actually take the time to write alt text for your image posts on Blue Sky. I think like really early on, whereas people really policing it kind of hard in the community, and and I kind of just got in the habit of doing it after being paranoid about it for a while. It's just like... Plus, like, it's good for the sake of accessibility. That's kind of how that whole drama got started in the first place. There was good intentions to the drama. But it kind of just means that, like, only post images, between that and not being able to save drafts or queue posts on Blue Sky, I sometimes delay when I actually post things, specifically because I don't have the time to write out all the text necessary to properly prepare the posts. Compared to other social medias, compared to something like Tumblr, where I can just upload the images to my phone, and then when I have time later on, type out all the text on my computer, because I can type things out with a keyboard much faster and more efficiently than I can on my phone. That's like a whole mess in itself. Like, I don't know if it'll ever happen, because there's bigger sites that don't even bother with it. But Blue Sky really needs... I really want Blue Sky to have a system for saving drafts and a system for queuing posts. The latter will probably never happen, because like not even the former Bird site does that. But man, it would be cool if Blue Sky did it. Alright, so that's the drawing. Okay, I see the issue. Like, have to decide where the braid. The braid doesn't look right. If it's going to wrap around the ear and not go right in front of it like it usually does, I have to draw this to better reflect that. Let's see how this looks. Well, even that, no, the braid's actually going out to the side. Why am I under the impression that it's down there? Well, better late than never to catch that, I suppose. It still looks even more weird now for some reason. Probably because the ears don't work like that. I still don't like the ear, but it does look better. And this is like supposed to look a little more weird than the other drawings. So I guess I'll leave it like that for now. What even was on this layer? Is that really just for the side cut? Alright. We'll call it Sarah Dizzy until I remember what exactly is for. Yeah, sure, let's finish up what we started. The initial plan was to draw and color all of these in, and even like move on to this other drawing I have in the other tab to fill the rest of the time in the stream, but that's before I decided that was more so like if we need more time, but this hour's honestly just been dragging so much as is. I don't mind just like saving the coloring for another time. Adding color is not too hard of a process though, so maybe I can like squeeze that in real quick and then just clean up the colors on my own time. We'll see. One problem at a time. Oh shoot, really? We're already in Teehee Valley, huh? Almost feels like I'm going through the soundtrack as quickly as... Like, you know how often on streams there's always like time flies by when you're having fun? It feels like the music's this thing that's flying by fast. And it's good there's something, because if... Honestly, like, doing the drawing on streaming feels like things have been moving a mile a minute. Can't really tell you why. So I think I'm just gonna take some liberties with the hands right away, because that hand looks more like a pine tree than it does a hand. So I'm not even gonna look at the sketch. See what I can do on my own. And to be fair, what I ended up drawing wasn't much better. I'll leave it as is for now. I don't know why I thought the ponytail belonged all the way over there. It feels much more fitting to do like this. Or even like that. That way I still keep the initial intention of not drawing it all the way out. Pardon me. That kind of slipped out. Border hopping? This late into the program? I thought it was like one of the first things you do in Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. The minigame's literally called Boulder Hop. Can't give me too hard of a time about that. I have to draw water and find some way to replicate the wavy hands. Guess I'll keep the water lines on their own later for now. That works. Make the waving. Alright. I'm not even sure if I want to keep wavy lines, so we'll just do that for now, and I can always edit it on my own time. Alright. So that's all the sketches. Now the big question is, do I want to color them now? Or just end off the stream? Not quite an hour and a half yet, so I'll do one. I forgot that I should have pulled up the reference in. I should have pulled up the reference image as a, so I could reference. If only so I could actually get the colors. Here we go. It's like coloring my characters is relatively simple. I just go to my reference. Plop. I drop the colors. Then paste them on here. If the lines get real rough, then I can always go through and clean it up with a paintbrush, but this is 90% of the work that goes into coloring. If I really wanted to make it look cool, that's where shading comes in. Not again. It's like, I swear, I don't know what it is today. I just bumped my neck at slightly wrong of an angle and starts freaking out. Seems to be good for now though, but maybe just more of a sign that I should like call the stream early. So just have to make sure the sleeves were also that color. You might have run into a problem, but we'll come back to that at a later point. I want the pupils to be black here, but then how do I handle the irises while still leaving room for the white? Because if I just do either just iris or just white, it's gonna look weird either way. This might work though. Still looks a little weird. Not helped by the fact that I normally don't do this part, I just make it all pupil. I think it's safe to make this all blue. The question is, should this be white or should it be a little blue in there? Definitely better than nothing. I probably should make up my mind soon of if I want to do the colors for all of these or not for the stream, because I feel like we're reaching the end of the Mario and Luigi soundtrack. Oh, wait, this playlist goes for like the whole series. So we're good. It's just going through early versions 1, or early versions now before it hops to Partners in Time. In fact, why don't I just do that now? I have it in me for at least one more Sarah, so we'll do it like that. Color in one Sarah at a time. And when I'm done, I'm done. I kind of regret adding outlines to that one. This one now. Because now it's gonna clash with the art style of the other ones. This is the hair color, right? Yeah. You know, I definitely don't remember this song from Partners in Time. Where's the soundtrack even? Oh, it's a file select song. It's been so long and I don't I guess most people aren't into file select for this long anyways, so that might be where a part of the confusion lies. Look at her though. As long as I look like from her nose down, she just looks so awesome. Then again, I'm very biased. Oh, thanks, Naomi. Welcome in. Glad you like the style. to be fair, this is not what my audience would be used to. I'm usually a gaming streamer, but I'm trying this for a change of pace because, well, to spice things up. And it's kind of a testing grounds for October because I have a personal tradition where I try to like make videos and content of the like revolving around these characters, and I thought like if this works out well, then maybe this would be a good way to include streaming into all of that for October. I'm not sure though, like, audience aside, I'm not quite sure how I feel about the art streams. I'm definitely a lot more comfortable doing this sort of drawing on my own time. But I think I also just haven't had the greatest day, so that's kind of a little influencing my thought process about how the stream is going, whether or not I'm consciously aware of it. Oh yeah, I guess I should explain these for people coming in. So, on top of making videos, I'm also I don't know if I'm technically a game designer yet, but I am dabbling in the art. I made these as pencil sketches a while ago, with the intent to actually use them as like UI visuals for a platformer I was working on. But I've been procrastinating it for so long, and I figured like I was in the game design mood with how much work I was putting into it yesterday. So this seemed like the perfect time to actually go ahead and work on that. Yeah, I guess we could do at least one more Sarah while people are coming in. I wouldn't be surprised if I don't get through all of them tonight. It's been kind of a struggle. I usually only stream 2 hours, and I was already leaning towards this one being on the shorter end. Like, I have to keep talking myself into doing more with the coloring and all of that. From my experiences, people like watching the streams as VODs afterwards. So I typically don't. So I don't take offense to anyone who doesn't watch things live. It does help make the stream go by faster when there's people to talk to. But as someone who likes to lurk on streams and will often watch VODs for stuff they miss, I totally get it. I am the one doing the stream, so I can't use audience as an excuse. I was doing Let's Plays where you literally don't have a live audience to bounce off until you upload the content onto the YouTube in the first place. So, in theory, this would not be anything new to me, but I always get tired a lot. I can worry about cleaning up the lines on my own time. Let me at least get the basic coloring out of the way. Oh boy, now for the dreaded the cookie stance. whole layer down here for the color. Maybe I'll label those individual layers. Well, later. So far so good with it though. Even coloring in the hands is just gonna make it more apparent how it is. Alright. Get the depth of color for that part. Oh, I forgot I have no reference to the my cookie. No, actually, I'm pretty sure there's a... There it is, like right on the reference sheet. Kind of wondering about those default colors still, or if I can mess around with it a little bit. Let's just get them plastered on here first and go from there. And I wonder how many times I've like made a big deal of, oh, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z for a particular month, and then just like put everything off until like the last possible moment, and just end up rushing it all down if I have anything to go off of at all. I gave myself 2 months to make the April Fool's game, and even then it felt I put so much time making the joke game that I didn't make any time, or I didn't put any time aside for the video itself, and it's just like quick upload saying, "Hey, I made a game for April Fool's, go check it out." When I could have done so much more with the video, especially considering like the whole point of the video, or making the joke game, was to make a whole video out of it. Well, what's gonna do? I'm just worried that Overseer October is gonna turn out that way. But at least it's still early on in the month. And I pretty much finished up the 2 big videos that I wanted to get done after Pokemon XG. So, in theory, now I can just completely focus on prepping for anything I want to do for Overseer October. I really should just make it a social media thread, but I know like my audience is on YouTube, so that's probably where I always get the inclination to try to make a video series out of it all, because not many people are going to be exposed to it on like Blue Sky or Tumblr. And you think, like, now that I'm actually doing game development stuff, I could, like, make cooler videos, like, showing off the characters in game, doing stuff, but I'm still learning a lot of that. And game development is pretty... if the April Fool's project was any indication of saying, game development is time-consuming. I can't just, like, snap my fingers and pull even a little something together to just act as a prop for the real stuff. No, you have to take time to build all that stuff out. Time that I could be spending just writing the scripts of said videos through other means. There's a lot to process with all that, and it's only going to just remain thoughts until I actually sit down and get a look at it, which might not pan out that way this weekend with how everything else that feels like it's coming up. Yeah, I just like... I hate how much I sacrifice and still don't feel like I have enough time to... Ooh, that was something cursed. Do what I want. Doesn't help that, like, probably because I try to do too much as one person. Hey, all I can do is roll with it. That was probably the quickest one yet. Did I clean it up, but I'm really itching to wrap things up, so... Dab my color onto here. I'll call it a night and clean everything up on my own time. All that trouble, and I didn't even put the waving on his own layer like I wanted to. Like, the whole point of making that waving later was so I could do a separate whatever. This is a classic. Kind of funny that we're hearing this music while doing the panicking I can't swim drawing. I was initially just gonna leave it at black pupils, but it doesn't. I don't know. Black pupils don't seem to work with this as well. No, I'll mess around with that on my own time though. Oh, I got an idea. put it in front of her. It'd be useful if I had a tool that's a little more solid. This might work. Little dabs of other blues in the mix. I'm not sure. I feel like I've lost a little bit of the waviness. But I do like where it's going, so I'll leave it like that for now. Maybe I should try... I think like if we go back here, make it just, I think this is like a situation where I could get away with just white and black. Maybe not. Again, feels like there's something missing, but I'm getting tired and somehow actually almost made this last as a 2-hour stream, even though I wanted to stop an hour ago. So that'll do for now. Let's see. Like I alluded to in the beginning, this won't come back until at least October. I'm a little conflicted between doing this or actually keeping up with gaming streams, because if I'm dedicating the entire channel to OC stuff in October, the streams might be an opportunity for people who actually want to see me play the video games. But this is also... I'm glad I at least tried this. Just a shame that I tried it out, that today ended up being today. So yeah, next stream will probably be on the 20th of this month. I didn't intend to go back into the every other Saturday schedule, but I might as well stick to it. Might actually give me a chance to record a game and chill, because it's been so long since I've done one of those as well. Yeah, we're still up finishing Pokemon XG. If you missed it, the big battle against in Mount Battle 100 went up earlier this week. Next week we'll also have the video, and it's technically the final one of the series. But of course it'll be significantly shorter because it's just purifying Pokemon and going through my thoughts and feelings of the project. I do have a couple things lined up after that that should keep us filled for the rest of the month. But they are pretty big videos, so I have to make sure that like the editing is done, but I have to like make thumbnails for them and actually get them uploaded, rendered and uploaded before I can confirm what they are and when they'll be. Let's see, if that all pans out, that should take us over to your October, which, like I said, I want to do, but I still have to. I have an idea for a theme, like a more specific theme than just OCs in general, but I have to actually write down. I have to actually start planning. At the very least, start editing those videos together. Probably have to at least work on one script as well, but I don't know if I'll get around to it before the month. We'll see though. Until the next time we meet either way though, I'll see y'all later. Oh, didn't mean for that to like cancel out the stream. I guess we'll just end it this way. Take care.